What is going on, you guys? How you guys doing? We are at the end of the week. Well, technically, not so much the end, but we damn near there. By the time y'all watch this shit, we gonna be over it. It's gonna be Friday or whatever. So, this is Friday Eve. All right. So it is crazy weather this week, for real though. Put aside everything that's been going on, it is some crazy weather. Like we are in fall. But this whole week, minus today, it's been damn near 80 degrees this whole week. And today I come outside and it's literally like either in the low 50s or no, the high 50s or the low 60s, okay? But it feels so good. But the weather was just so beautiful for the past couple of days. You know, I had to do a couple of outside videos, but um I think I'm gonna start doing another little segment like that, like the walking and talking and shit. Cause y'all know I go outside with while I'm at work, and I try to get some type of exercise in before I come home and do my regular exercise. Because if I'm sitting there, I just something just popped up in my head like, bitch, you sitting here and you ain't got shit else to do. Get your ass up and go walk around, okay? Come on now, do something, move the motherfucking legs, bitch. And so that's what I did. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself like that and be like, get the fuck up, bitch. And that's what I do. That's how I motivate myself. Bitch, get your ass up. I'm like, okay, self, I'm gonna get up. And I've noticed that, you know, if I don't work out, because I've gotten into the habit now, if I don't work out, I just, even for a day, sometimes you are allowed a rest day if you want or whatever, but I have to do something. I just don't feel right. I feel like I'm cheating myself or I'm doing something bad if I don't work out for one day or whatever, or at least 30 minutes or something, some type of physical activity or whatever. But I guess that's a good thing. So hey, it is what it is. I'm still motivated. Anyway, y'all like, okay, bitch, I'm trying. I'm trying to drop this motherfucking weight. I'll give me a good another year and a half or so to get to somewhere where I want to be. But I really don't have a goal. I'm gonna tell you that I don't have a goal as to what size I want to be. I just want to be more comfortable in a healthy place, a healthier place. Because, like I told you guys, I don't have, and I'm thankful. I don't have none of the major, things that come with being overweight, like diabetes or high cholesterol or anything like that. I don't have none of that shit. I barely have, I had a little bout of high blood pressure, but I got that shit under control. I don't even take medication for that shit. So, I'm trying. I'm trying, bitch. I'm motivated. But anyway, let's work together. Oh, let me stop. But shout out to y'all. Oh, and shout out to Danielle. I'm finna put your whole name out there, so forgive me if you don't want that. But Danielle Moon, I was gonna say something in my Love and Hip Hop video Monday when I seen you at the library. You know, um, come in trying to get some stuff or whatever. She was like, oh my God, I'm watching you on YouTube. I was like, oh shit. Mind you, I was sitting there. See, I gotta work on my face because sometimes I sit there and I be so over it already, or I be tired. But then, I have to perk up when people come. But, shout out to you. I didn't forget, so there you go. But let's get into this video, okay? Now, today is Thursday. Yesterday was the 19th, and yesterday was the final day for the last debate of the 2016 presidential election candidates between Republican Donald Trump and the Democrat nominee Hillary Clinton. Okay. And if you are in Illinois, I know in some states they already have early voting, and Illinois is one of those states. If you can't do early voting to get it on out the way, go ahead and get that done. Make sure you are registered. I don't remember what the end date is, but just make sure, go on the website. There are many websites out here to see if you're registered and all that stuff. Just make sure you go out and vote. Your vote do matter, okay? No matter what's going on, no matter what people say, your vote really does matter, okay? Um, Moving on from that, the debate happened, and since the last debate, we had a lot of stuff that was going on, okay? Before the second debate, that Friday or that Saturday came out with the releasing of the tape for, Donald Trump saying the things about, having fame and that affording him to sleep with whoever he want to sleep or kiss whoever he want to kiss and grab them by the pussy and all that shit. Since then, Billy Bush has been suspended, and since that suspension, NBC decided to let him go. And, a lot of the Republican people who were for Donald Trump have, stepped away from him or pulled back their endorsements or, just being laying in the cut, ain't got nothing to say on this and just, reprimanded himself. But then you have some who are taking up for him and, things of that matter. You had a bit, girl, I don't even watch. There are certain things that I do not watch because I know it's going to make me mad. All right. So when it comes to politics, this literally has been the most times that I watch stuff on politics because I just know, like, no matter who you're voting for, Hillary, Donald, they're all lying to us. All politicians lie to us, okay? People claim that they're going to do this. This is what they probably want to do, but it's no guarantee that it's going to happen or they're going to stay on task with that. Even Obama has some, drawbacks or whatever. He's not the perfect president. I mean, he done good, but, he has areas that he can improve on. And if you're real with yourself, you can admit that no matter how much, you're a fan or you're here for the Obamas, he has some faults, okay? But that lady, I don't know who her name is, they was talking about Pussygate, and she actually said, so y'all gonna get pissed at, I'm finna paraphrase this, y'all getting pissed at Donald for talking about grabbing by the pussy, but then you got Hillary Clinton being a fan or a stan of Beyonce, and that's what she put out there herself. But Beyonce is the one talking about some, if you fuck me good, I take his ass to Red Lobster. So what's the difference between Pussygate and that and tooting and booting it on the stage and all this shit? And I was sitting here like, it caught me so off guard. So I mean, Beyonce was at home like, then like, B, you got the Republican man. I did. I didn't even have to say nothing, bitch. I let him be mad, bitch. That's what it is. Like, I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? That didn't even make no sense. You cannot compare, and I don't care what anybody say. You can be a Republican and you can come on here, you can be for Donald Trump, but let's use common sense, all right? You don't even have to be a fucking fan of Beyonce to understand that this does not correlate. They are two separate entities, okay? Donald Trump is talking about, what he is talking about is sexual assault, okay? You're talking about grabbing a woman that's not yours. You're talking about just doing it off the whim because I just can't contain myself. I just feel like I got to kiss them, pretty women and all that stuff. Married women, all this. You're also married. You said this shit during the time that you recently just got married and your wife was pregnant, okay? So for them to compare that to Beyonce, who was singing a song about saying, if I fuck my husband fucks me good, I'm gonna take that nigga to Red Lobster and feed that motherfucker because baby, you did a good ass job. She's talking about consensual sex between her husband, not sexual assault between people that's not consenting, okay? There is the fucking clear ass difference, okay? How are you going to compare the two? You really can't. Apples and fucking oranges, okay? Apples and fucking pudding, bitch, all right? Get the fuck out of here. And then you have Ann Coulter. This bitch gonna put out a line talking about, pussy curvilicious and shit like that. And I'm like trying to say that that's what Beyonce said. If you are going to push something out, please do your research and please get the right lyrics and make sure that person actually said it. Nicki Minaj said that shit, not Beyonce. Beyonce like, I got these hoes mad. I got these hoes mad and I wasn't even thinking about them. What the fuck, bitch? I just got off a goddamn tour. Now I'm all up in a fucking presidential debate and shit. Like, what the hell is going on? Girl, fuck that. I'm just sitting here like, y'all just making yourself look stupid as shit, okay? Like I've always said, you can vote for whoever you want to, even if it is Donald Trump. But if you want to give a reason, just make sure it makes sense. I'm still going to look at you with a side eye, but I'm still going to respect it, okay? I'm like, oh, so you still going to... But if you say, okay, I can understand that, but, you're entitled to your opinion. So, it is what it is. I just don't want to vote for him, okay? I don't want no dealings with him. So, hey, it is what it is. get onto this debate. And I must say, this debate didn't really give me as much as the first two debate. I mean, it was just as much of a shit show. I will say for the most part, Donald Trump has been improving. I have to give it to him. He has been improving with trying to contain his temperament, because he said he got the better temperament than Hillary. Hillary kind of slipped a little bit. I can't even remember what it was that Donald said. Donald was trying to call her out on something, but then all of a sudden Hillary just went in, and you saw her face get tight lip. Her lips got tight. That nose flare. I said, "Oh, she mad." Donald has struck the goddamn nerve tonight, huh, Hillary? Hillary said, "Fuck you mean, bitch." That's what she was saying in her mind, okay? Because she wasn't going to say it out loud. First of all, who did Hillary? Girl, Hillary came out there in her communion mother of the church suit. Girl, what queen beat her face, okay? I said, look at that. Hillary didn't come to play with y'all bitches. I said, all right, Hillary. Now let's get this shit on the road. Let me tell you something. Donald and Hillary were being disrespectful to the moderator, and I'm going to tell you why. And they've been doing this throughout all three debates. When they say time and stop, you shut the fuck up. They gonna keep on going, okay? And then in this debate, it just got so heated that they were literally going back and forth and talking so much over each other, especially on one part. They were really talking over each other. And Donald gonna get in his feeling or whatever, talking about the moderator said, let Donald talk. And I was like, well, you asked the question to Hillary. Hillary wasn't finished talking before Donald interjected himself. So now it's Donald's turn. Let Hillary finish what she has to say and then let Donald talk. But they both were talking over each other, and they were talking over the moderator, and it was just so irritating. He trying to control it and say, no, we got to get to the next section, because they broke it up like 6 different topics, and it was going to be 2 minutes each to talk about it, and then it was going to spend the 10 minutes or so, discussing it, give their opinion, their direct answer, and then going to expound on it for the next 10 minutes, ask a little further questions in that. And it just went awry. It just went awry, okay? Of course, they talked about the foreign policy. At one point, they was talking about Putin. Girl, that first 15 minutes, they was talking about, oh my God, what were they talking about? Was it immigration or some shit like that they was talking about? And then Hillary went on ahead and said something about Putin, okay? And then Donald Trump said, look at you. So we get off for this, and somehow we done went over there to Putin. Look how you to deflect that. Okay, that's all you do. I said, bitch, coming from King Deflector, that's all you do. And no lie, Hillary, I was confused as to how we got on Putin too. Okay, I was sitting here like, wait a minute, what happened? I'm not going to sit here and just be like, Hillary did the damn thing, bitch. I was confused on some parts. I said, and at one point, it did sound like Donald was trying to get that ass, and then he kind of slipped up himself. I said, the foreign policy, the Syria thing, Donald even brought. He had the Benghazi mother, one of the Benghazi mother there. Sarah Palin was there, and also Barack Obama's half brother, okay, he was there. He wanted to vote for him. I don't care. And I honestly feel like, what was the point of putting that out there that they was going to come or whatever? Who are you rattling? You're not rattling anybody's cages, okay? So what? They not finna get up there and speak or whatever. Oh, you brought them 4 women that was supposed to be sexually assaulted by Will Smith, Bill Clinton, and that did nothing, okay? You literally are allowing yourself to be used as props for Donald Trump. And it's looking very pathetic on Donald Trump's end and yours, okay? Because after this is over with, he's not going to have no connection to you. He's not going to be talking to you. Y'all not going to be kicking it on the phone. All right. So what's the point? I don't get it. And you're not going to get no free nights in his hotels or whatever. Child, he was so adamant to say that he was sleeping up in his hotel, his gracious hotel or whatever. You're talking about money, and you're talking about the country being financially fucked up, but you talking and bragging about how your hotel is all this and all that, and you talking about, the jobs being going to being outsourced to other countries and we need to bring them back. And then Hillary, get your ass on talking about how your stuff was built on immigrants, okay, illegal aliens, as you want to call them. That's how your stuff was built, all right? And you also was using Chinese steel. Girl, when he said something about, when he said that about his hotel, I was up at my hotel. I was up in my apartment in Trump Tower, or whatever. It's very beautiful, whatever. By the way, and Hillary said, built on, built with Chinese steel, though. That shit got me. I said, that's funny. It was. But, Donald kept it together. I said, okay, Donald was trying. He was trying. I'm going to give him that, okay? But when they start talking about abortion and things like that, Roe versus Wade, that gives the woman the right to abort a child and the right to do what she pleases with her body. I just don't understand. How are you going to govern and tell a woman what it is that she can and cannot do with her body? But yet we do not have a law or whatever. Do we have a law saying what a man can do, can or cannot do with their bodies? Like, I don't get it. That's some sexist ass shit. And it's all men that's for this, being pro-life. You could be pro-life and pro-choice at the same time. Like, I'm here for it. But if you want to go ahead and, get this abortion, I'm not going to judge you. It's just that that's not what I think about. I'm not here for abortions, but I'm not going to judge another person and say, no, you shouldn't do that. And I'm not going to protest and all that stuff because that's not my body. I don't know the circumstances behind it. I don't know the reason, okay? It's always a reason. Sometimes people do abuse it, but, you have, like Hillary said, he want to get rid of Planned Parenthood and things of that such, but Planned Parenthood gets this stigma that it's all about abortion, but it also provides health care to women, okay? Cancer screening, breast cancer screening, all this stuff and that they need, okay? We need that. It provides that, okay? And it's like, it just makes me upset. And then when they start talking about late term abortion, Donald Trump said, so basically, if a woman carries a child to 9 months, she can just, late term abortion is just, going here and ripping the baby out and killing it right in and there. Or, the day before that she's due, you can take the baby out and kill it. That's horrible and all that shit. And I'm sitting here like, I have never heard no shit like that. What is the goddamn point of having, that was the dumbest example of a late term pregnancy, okay? I thought late term was like to the last minute to where it's, claiming that you can go ahead and get it aborted like after 3 months or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but to 9 months to get that shit in you might as well just the day before that you're due, like you go ahead and have this full term. That is a human. That's a damn baby with a heartbeat and everything. That is a child. Come on, what are you talking about? All right, that's no embryo. That's no fetus. That is a fucking newborn. Okay, that's what the fuck it is. And you talking about stuff, just kill it or whatever. That makes no sense, Donald. That makes no sense. I had Republicans, people that was for Donald in my mention saying, yeah, I'm for him, but he lost me on that one. I said, I know, okay? He lost all of us on that one, and I'm pretty sure he lost himself, okay? Because it makes no sense. Why not just have the baby and give it up for adoption? That makes, oh, no. He still got his stance on immigration, building a wall, and this thing talking about some, we got to get out the bad drug lords. I said, so it's good drug lords? People was in my mention talking about, yeah, the one that supplied him. I don't know if Donald does drugs or whatever. I'm not going to put that out there because I don't know that man like that. But I'm just tired of him sniffling. I wish Melania would give him some tissue. I told you, Melania, while you out here lying, okay, because you did that little interview with Anderson Cooper, talking about what your husband said and what he did and all this stuff with the Pussygate. Oh, I've never heard him talk like that. And I was a little disgusted by what he said. But, it's locker room talk. It's boy talk. And he was being egged on by the host. I said Billy Bush wasn't saying a damn thing. He was just, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. That's all that he did. Okay. Donald Trump was the main one talking. And he's old enough to know not to get suckered into fucking peer pressure. And do you see Donald Trump, the way he act now, being suckered into peer pressure to say some vile shit? Hell no. So come again, Melania. And Melania, you also said that he apologized to you. Donald Trump got up on that stage when they started talking about all this stuff because after the last debate, at least 9 women or so came out saying that, putting out their instances, situations or whatever that they had with Donald, and, about how he either kissed them, groped them, touched them, or whatever, and sexually assaulted them in some type of way. And he gets up there and said, all this stuff has been debunked, okay? And I feel like, I don't need to apologize. I didn't apologize to my wife because I didn't do nothing wrong. Now, your wife just said in an interview the day before that you apologized to him, right? Apologized to her. You just said that you didn't, okay? And then you saying that this stuff was debunked. And then what irks me so much is that, like Hillary said, every time something goes wrong, he wants to blame somebody else and say that it's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged. Oh, I think that these things was rigged by Hillary's campaign. They're doing all of this stuff. I've never seen those women. I would never ever do nothing to women that look like that. And, it's all rigged. It's been debunked. I said, no, the fuck it hasn't. Okay? Stop it. Stop lying. Okay? Stop lying. You get up there and you lie. You call her one of the, she can't be a president because she lies all the time. You lie too. Both of you bitches lie, okay? Let's just put that out there. That's all that you fucking do is lie, all right? You lied through 3 debates, okay? You say one thing on Twitter, you get in your feelings on Twitter, and then you come up on this stand, you get in front of the people, you get asked these questions about what you say, and then you try to lie them off, okay? As if you never said it. Wrong, wrong, wrong. No, you're wrong, okay? That's all that you do, all right? And I was just tired of it. You calling on the immigrants, get rid of the drug laws, okay? The bad drug laws, okay? Oh, and the bad hombres, all right? And I'm sitting here like, so in Donald Trump's mind, it's almost as if, and I know it's a big number of illegal immigrants that come into this country from Mexico. But when you keep on saying stuff about immigration, you have to look at it also as people from other countries, not just fucking Mexico. All right? So you really are just singling out one group of people, and that's fucked up. And then you talk about bad hombres and bad drug dealers, drug lords, and you trying to go back on the fact that you did say that they send their rapists and their thieves and stuff like that, killers over here. You try to backtrack and say that you didn't say it, but you did say it. We all know. It was just irritating. It was really irritating to hear him talk shit about that. But then you want to come at Hillary about what she has done. Oh, you've been in politics for 30 years and this plan failed. You didn't push for this. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. And you put all the blame on Hillary. Oh, it was Hillary campaign that incited the violence at his rallies, okay? So Hillary people went in and told that older white gentleman to punch them black boys as they was walking out. It was Hillary's campaign that told those men that was shouting at that black girl and pushing her at your rally. It was Hillary campaign. Oh, he blamed Hillary campaign for setting up him getting kicked the fuck out of Chicago. Hillary campaign ain't had shit to do with that, okay? And I can be a judge for that, and I can be a voice for that because, bitch, we didn't want you here, so we shut that shit down, okay? So that's what the fuck happened. I'm gonna just put that out there. That's what the fuck happened. As a Chicagoan, that was a proud fucking moment. We weren't here for that bullshit, okay? But anyway, after that, Hillary was just like, at one point, he was just starting to say she did this and she was doing this. She said, bitch, let me run down my resume. When you was doing, I'm out here working for kids and shit. You out here trying to build you out here filing false taxes or whatever the fuck you doing, hiding your taxes and shit like that, going bankrupt, okay? I'm out here killing Osama, bitch, you on a Celebrity fucking Apprentice, okay? She just read him down for down, and I have to give it to Hillary because on each debate, she had a a blurb just like that each time. She had a moment where she literally read her resume down and you couldn't say nothing else about it. Okay, we not finna sit here and act like Hillary has been perfect. No, Hillary has a lot of fucking flaws in her closet too. Okay, but she still has the experience compared to Donald fucking Trump. All right, does that make her a little bit? It makes her not 100% trustworthy, but it makes her a little bit more trustworthy than him because she still has that experience behind. And Donald fucking Trump, I'm gonna tell you to stop saying the African American and the Latinos. It rubs me the wrong way, okay? Take that the out of there, okay? And then quit assuming or putting it out there, making generalized statements as if all African Americans and Latinos live in the inner city, because they do not. All right? They do not, okay? And you know, I don't know. What else was there? Calling her, you're a nasty woman. A nasty woman. I'm just sitting here like, all right, that's what we want as a president. You know, you don't know Putin, y'all not best friends and stuff like that. So you don't know anything. You do not know how to run a government, and that is what you just, let alone a country. That's what you just showed us, okay? I'm girl, we fucked anyway. Either way, I'm just gonna put that shit out there. We're fucked either way, okay? But moving on from that, if I missed something that happened in the debate, y'all let me know. Like, they asked if Hillary, if the debate come back and, if the results come back that either Hillary don't win or the Donald don't win, how would they feel about it? Would they accept it and, come together? She was like, yeah, I would. Donald gonna say, I have to see how it plays out when it happens. You know what? Listen, and I might be the only one that probably got what he was coming. Listen, that one part, I was like, well, I understood what he was saying. Because, you don't know how you going to feel at that moment. Like, if you go put on the face and be like, okay, bitch, yeah, we going to come together as a country. And be like, congratulations. No, or if I'm going to show my ass and be like, bitch, fuck this shit. I should have fucking won. You don't know how you going to act. You know how you supposed to act. But he was being truthful with that. I truly do feel like he was being truthful with that. So, it is what it is. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about this debate. It was a mess. Moving on. Let's get into the rest of this video. So, the man who shot at George Zimmerman during that road rage incident, he messed around and the judge in Florida gave him, because of that was like attempted murder, second degree, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, gave him 20 years for that, with a concurrent sentence of 15 years for assault in that same incident. I said, you know what? Everything. Who is on whoever he prayed to? Like, who is on George's side, because he is getting away with a whole bunch of stuff. And I understand that, oh boy, you did almost kill him. That was attempted murder. So you do get charged and you got to suffer the consequence. And I'm just upset at the fact that George Zimmerman keeps getting off scot-free and just allowed to walk so freely on this earth without no remorse or no punishment or whatever. I heard he a little bit homeless, but still, you still breathing. I'm just saying, I just feel away. The guy that's going to jail, he should be held as a hero, but sometimes heroes are made as martyrs or whatever. I know I'm getting a little bit too deep, and y'all like, girl, come on back. But I mean, a whole bunch of us feel the same way. Like, I feel like he shouldn't be going to jail because he was doing us a favor, but casualty of war. Moving on from that, Shawty Lo. So y'all know Shawty Lo. He had his funeral like past couple of weeks ago, and when he happened to got in a car accident, it was saying that he was most likely under the influence. He was drunk. Now they're saying that they found some pills on him, and that the two women that were in the car with him, they stole money from him or something. His daughter came out saying that we would be stupid as fuck to believe that he had pills on him or that anybody took anything from him. No, girl, we would be stupid enough to believe that that's not a possibility. Because why would we want to make stuff up? I'm just saying, to be quite honest, I'm just saying. But it's all fucked up all the way around, and it's still sad that he is gone so soon like this. 40 years old with all them damn kids. Okay. Congratulations to Janet and Tupac. Okay, they're nominees to be looked at to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think Janet was also a nominee last year, but she missed the buck. I really hope she gets it. I want Tupac to get it too, because Tupac has influenced a lot of people, you know. And Janet just a badass bitch. I'm just saying, she come from a family of badass bitches, you know. And they just the first African American family of music. I'm gonna just put it like that. You know, everybody knows the Jackson, at least one. Okay, besides, do you know any Jackson besides Michael and Janet? All right, so you got Rebe, you got Jackie, you got Tito, you got Jermaine, you got Marlon, you got Michael, you got Randy, you got Latoya, and you got Janet, and they also had a twin named Brandon that was Marlon's twin. Look at that. I could give you some second generations too, but we're not gonna go that deep, okay? Y'all like, girl, bring it back, okay? Move on. I am. All right. So congratulations. I really hope that one of the two or both of them get nominated. I want them in there, okay? Like the Jackson 5 is in there, Jackson's in there, Michael in there, I think. Like, come on, that'd be so decent if Janet get that too. And Tupac, y'all know that's my nigga too, so you know. Anyway, moving on from that. Can fucking do. He can't. Okay? Ken can't. Obviously, that's what we're showing. Y'all, this shit is so good. This little green smoothie. It has apple, pineapple, mango, banana, and kiwi. It is delish. Alright, but anyway. Ken do has the nerve to be putting out he wants spousal support for Mary. Kendu was Mary's manager, and I guess she must have been his only client because he ain't getting no other income no other way. And I understand that, you know, he's used to a certain lifestyle. They've been married for what, 11, 12 years. But my thing of the matter is, you should have been doing something that had some shit on the side going on, and your shit shouldn't have been solely based off of one person. That's my thoughts on it. You now want 130 or 120, is it 129, $130,000 a month? $130,000 a month, okay, in spousal support. You want a certain amount, thousands of dollars for a personal trainer, a personal chef, um, groceries, to pay for your parents, you know, to pay on property that you guys got together, to pay for children that aren't hers from a previous relationship. Now, if y'all was together for 12 years and y'all probably was dating for a year or so before y'all got married, I'm gonna put like 2 years or so before y'all got married, okay? How old are these goddamn kids that you still paying support on like that? I'm confused, all right? And second of all, you know, $10,000 for vacations and $20,000 or some shit like that for charity or whatever, that makes no fucking sense to me. Okay, and the fucked up part about it is this legal system is a funny thing, and he could probably get most of this stuff. Okay, and we sitting here like, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna pay for some parents that ain't mine. Okay, I ain't even paying for my own damn parents, but you want me to continue to pay for your parents, and you're not even in my life. You're not my responsibility, but your parents got to be my responsibility. You want me to pay on kids that are not mine. Okay, they did not come out my uterus. They did not sleep up inside me for 9 months. Hell no, your sperm didn't meet my eggs to make them bitches. Okay, it's not gonna happen. I will be that bitch that's gonna go to jail because I refuse. I refuse. When I'm done with you, I'm fucking done with you. Move the fuck on. You gonna have to get your ass up and get a goddamn job. But like I said, and I was about to say, the court system and all this shit is a funny thing, okay? It is a funny thing, meaning that he could possibly get all this shit. And that's fucked up, okay? And if it was in reverse, where the woman gets spousal support and she was asking for the same damn thing, I would have the same fucking feeling. Like, bitch, get your ass up and get a goddamn job. What the fuck you need with a personal trainer and a personal chef? You can't go get you some TV dinners or go get you some takeout or whatever, or go get you a cooking class and learn how to cook. You mean to tell me you can't go get your ass a gym membership, okay? Or can't ask, can you give me $1,000 or whatever and buy me a treadmill and an elliptical or whatever and set that up in the home gym and we can be fine with that and I can just work out in my home gym? Or you can't get a $29, $30 membership to a gym? Get the fuck out of here. Girl, that shit made me mad. Mary, you sure enough know how to pick them. Fucked up. Make sure y'all look at How to Get Away with Murder tonight because Mary gonna be on there sewing in some hell on Annalise's head, bitch. Okay? I said I know that's right. And Paula J. Park gonna be up in the episode tonight. I said I know that fist of teeth anywhere. Go ahead, Paula. You getting your rose after being on Hollywood Divas. I must say that. I can't hate on that. You know, you better snatch them up while you can, bitch. Okay, let them know, ho. Moving on from that, Kim K was about to sue Media Takeout. I don't know if the lawsuit is still going on. Media Takeout, for some reason, y'all still go on Media Takeout and y'all go and listen to their stuff and read their stuff as if it's facts. Media Takeout is the dumbest shit ever, and you can just read the headlines and understand and see that it's not common. Common sense will tell you that this don't even sound real, okay? Media Takeout is one step up away from these fake-ass satire websites that be out there that y'all be falling for too, okay? But they put out something saying that Kim faked her, faking this robbery and shit like that. And I know some people still believe that, you know, it was a fake or whatever. A video was just released of the actual 5 guys, 3 was on bicycles and 2 was walking, who went up to the hotel and we saw them come back and we saw the last person on the bicycle with the bag of goods, okay? So, you know, Kim isn't hiding. She's not really on social media like that. Well, she hasn't been. And, you know, she shook up. I mean, it's understandable. But you want to put out this stuff and you have to be, I know we have freedom of press, freedom of speech, but you still have to be careful what you say. And especially against a media giant like the Kardashians. All right, your lawyers are no match for her. So therefore, Media Takeout said, you know what we're gonna do? Okay, we see that you're serious about this. We're gonna issue an apology and we're gonna say we're sorry and we should never did that and you know this is something that we should take seriously and no one would ever want to feel that. I said I knew y'all that was coming because you would Media Takeout wouldn't have stood a chance. It would have been just like, is it Gawker? Gawker, who had to file bankruptcy after Hulk Hogan sued them for releasing the sex tape of him, you know, and he won for millions and millions of dollars. Media Takeout would have been the same fucking way, okay? And speaking of Kim Kardashian, Kanye West was recently in one of his shows and he went on a tirade. He went on one of his classic rants and I don't know. Maybe he was just in his feelings. His period came on early. You know, he's just under like stress or some shit. Or maybe it's just fucking Kanye. But Kanye went in on the fact how I think Drake got this song called Pop Style. And I think either Jay-Z had a verse on it or Kanye had a little verse on it or some shit like that. He was like, the shit make me mad when I hear the song because couldn't even be on it the way that I want to be on it because of all this title verse Apple bullshit. How come we can't get out here and just make the music and do all that shit? Okay, that's fine. I agree with that. You know, streaming stuff, we don't see no Spotify versus Pandora, you know, Spotify versus Apple, no shit like that. As soon as Tidal came out, you know, everybody wanted to make it Tidal versus Apple Music and shit like that. Can we all just get along and just cohabitate with one another? I ain't never understand that. If you don't like one, go get the other one. If you don't like none, shut the fuck up about it, okay? You ain't got to pay for it, you know? Leave it alone. And then he further goes on to say that he wasn't allowed to do the verse or some shit like that because, or Jay didn't really want to do the verse or whatever because of his loyalty to Meek Mill and, you know, the percentage and the money and shit, the points or whatever, the stuff that goes on with that on Apple. He didn't want to do that. And then he went into saying that there will be no Watch the Throne 2. To be quite honest, I wasn't checking for a Watch the Throne 2. Watch the Throne 1 was cute, you know, and I like it. That's a classic album to me, but, you know, you don't need to mess up a good thing, okay? And, you know, he didn't perform and won't perform Niggas in Paris or whatever, and was saying that Jay didn't even call, Jay didn't even call, you called me after a robbery, you ain't even gonna come and see me. Like, no, nigga, come see me. I'm supposed to be boy and all this stuff. Our daughters don't even play together, haven't even played together. And I'm sitting here like, I want to feel away. And it's not that because I'm a fan of Jay-Z and I'm here for Beyonce and Jay-Z, but I'm also here for Kanye. But Kanye, you have to understand, they're not obligated to do that. And your relationship with him has obviously changed. And it been changed since the day you started really fucking around with Kim Kardashian. That obvious change. But also it probably was some other stuff that was brewing that went on that we don't know as the public. So when you come out and you saying this stuff, it's just making us look at you like, boy, shut the fuck up. Quit crying about shit. Okay? Maybe it's some behind the scenes stuff that we're not privy to and we shouldn't even know this stuff. Okay? I mean, they didn't even show up to your wedding. But if you felt this way, you should have told them when they came to your damn concert. They came out to your concert and supported y'all. Did y'all come to On the Run tour? Did y'all go to the Formation tour? Did y'all do any of that? No, you didn't. So, hey, both of y'all being petty as fuck, and I just don't get it. Like, you can't get upset because we cool, and I don't want to kick it with you like that no more because of certain things or whatever. And they probably, in the fact, in the fucked up thing is, they probably already discussed this. They probably already had a conversation about it, and Jay probably sitting there like, I thought this was a dead ass issue, and now you want to bring the shit back up. Like, it's stupid. I don't know. And I understand and I get the frustration where Kanye is coming from because Kanye looked at Jay-Z like a big brother. And sometimes family go through stuff and you break apart a little bit, and then sometimes it takes a minute for you to come back to that closeness. But putting your business out in the street, that's not going to help you come back to that closeness as you once were. That's not going to help. Like, chill out. Go write it down in the diary or some shit. Speaking of Beyonce, they had the title concert this past Saturday. And, Beyonce came out there early in the show, which shocked a whole bunch of us. She did 6-inch Heel, which was cute. And she also did Haunted. Now, girl, she had that ponytail. And when she was doing that thing, the whole big story was the fact that the ponytail got caught. She was trying to fix it, and then it came out, okay? It got fixed. But then it wrapped back around, and it got caught in her earring, and she yanked it, and she ripped her earlobe. Ooh, she was bleeding, bitch. Let me tell you something. I would have died on the stage like. But then again, my adrenaline would have been up, so I can understand why she just kept on going because, the adrenaline was up, probably didn't feel it, or it probably just felt like a pinch, and she said, fuck this shit until she felt the blood. The show must go on. Fine. All right. Beyonce was out there. I'm being honest. It was a good performance. She came back later and she did all night, and it was cute. It was cute, but I wasn't hyped over it. I mean, I was hyped a little bit because it was Beyonce, of course, but I wasn't so hyped over it like I was last year when I looked at it. Ugh, all that spit just came up in my mouth. Anyway, so it was cute for what it was, but I mean, okay. That's all I can say about it. And y'all know I'm a Beyonce fan, so hey, it is what it is. But Nicki Minaj got up there and she went the fuck off in the middle of her song. With these pussy ass niggas when they can't have shit, the way that they act. Okay, even Barack needed Michelle. Don't fuck around and get you a Melania. I said, okay, what's going on here? Oh, somebody's mad. What's going on? I felt like you was yelling at me, Nicki. And then when you took your thing off and you was up there and you had to twerk, that I can't stand a bitch with a big ass and you don't know how to work it. Okay? I really fucking don't understand it. You did 2 or 3 rotations and that was enough. You got tired, you turned around, looked at the audience because you was trying to get what they was trying to see, their reaction, and then you turned back around and you tried to give them a little more, and it just wasn't really working. I don't know if your back was hurting, if it was too heavy, or what, but it just did not work. Baby, don't twerk no more. Don't do that shit no more. Tell Meek to give you some lessons. I'm pretty sure he know how to do it. You know what? Call Safari up because Safari can get down on that thing. He Jamaican. He know. And girl, you from the fucking islands. God damn. Okay? But anyway, I ain't gonna come hard on Nicki like that. I was just a little bit confused by that little rant that she went on. It was just like, girl, what? Calm your ass the fuck down. Um, So also moving on from that, the internet lit Jazmine Sullivan ass up because of this post that she put up about this gospel singer named TC who passed away suddenly. And the post was really about how this guy had a crush on her and he was just annoying the hell out of her and she didn't appreciate him until the fact that he was dead. And she put up a picture of herself instead of just putting up a picture of him, or just keeping it simple, like, we had our little conversations, we had our time, and I'm gonna miss you, and rest in peace and condolences to the family. It was nothing like that. So of course Black Twitter went the fuck in. I can't stand when people do stuff like that. They make it about them. It's not about you, okay? It's about that person, all right? But I still love Jazmine, so you know, flaws and all. And the last thing that I really want to talk about, nope, not the last thing. Jackie Christie. Jackie Christie been in the news or topic of discussion lately because of the fact that her oldest daughter, um, her grandbaby, well, her oldest daughter has an 8-month old who got into an accident when he was in daycare, which caused him to be burnt on his neck, I think his chest, the face, or something like that. And he's in a burn unit, and it's costing a lot of money to keep him there. Plus, I don't think she has a job or whatever. It was like she was asking for $3,000, and there was so many different versions of this story that was coming out. And at first, they said that she put up the GoFundMe, but then I'm hearing that it was the friend that put up the GoFundMe. People started getting in on Jackie and like, damn, she only asked them for $3,000. So you mean to tell me that you couldn't give it to her and she had to set this GoFundMe up? And Jackie want to say that the girl never talked to her or asked her for anything, so she didn't know, or some shit like that. And then I did see a post, and I don't know if it was true or real, from her, saying that the girl, I think her name is Takira or something like that, saying that she didn't ask for money. All she wanted was the words. The words could have helped or whatever. Meaning that the fact that you would have just reached out and said, is everything okay? That would have worked for her. That's what she wanted. That's really what would have made her heart, rejoice in everything. Because they have a contentious relationship. And what I've heard is the fact that Jackie didn't even invite the girl to the wedding that she had with Doug again, okay? But the other kids were there. Doug is not the second oldest daughter's father, Chantel, the light-skinned one. But yet Doug has a good relationship with Chantel. Doug has no relationship with Takira or whatever, and it's upsetting because we heard about this relationship between Jackie and her daughter 2 seasons ago on Loving on Basketball Wives, and it was put out there that maybe the fact of the matter is she has this color issue that she's not really here for the daughter because I guess she reminds her of her younger self and how she used to be out there. She's dark skinned, she's a little bit overweight, and they've always had this back and forth going through. And it's just sad that the way that this is going, okay? And I don't care if the girl didn't ask Jackie, for help or whatever. When I see a GoFundMe up and I see that it's from a child of who has parents who has money, who visibly we know have money, okay? And you mean to tell me you couldn't offer assistance? You didn't even have to call and say, hey, I'm going to give you this money right here. I can do whatever you need me to do. You didn't have to call or do that. You could have anonymously donated. Or you could have did just put your name down there and donated and didn't say nothing. You didn't even have to reach out. Donated if that's the case. Or, you could have, there's so many things that she could have did even if she claimed that she didn't know. And you can't tell me you didn't know, Jackie, because as soon as the shit came out, this stuff happened like a couple of weeks when this shit finally hit the airwaves. People were tagging you in it. And you still didn't say nothing. And you wait till now to say that you didn't hear or nobody, to make it seem as if you didn't know. You can't say that you didn't know because people were tagging you in the shit. All right? And even if you have some issues going on with your child, I don't care what the issue is. I will put that issue aside because ain't no way I will feel like shit if my child had to go and see people that work on the network that I am on. Gloria's ex-husband or, baby daddy, Matt Barnes, having to donate $3,000 to her. You have Evelyn Lozado, who's reaching out and donated $3,500 to her. Okay, so and other people donating money to her. And have you yet? I don't even know if she even met the baby yet. The baby's like 8 months old. So that just I don't care. Whatever it is, I swear to God, if my mama needed me or something and I'm going through some shit and I'm not here for her right now, I just drop that shit and I'll be there. If you need me to physically be there, I will be there. Okay, put our little petty differences aside or whatever. And like I said, if you don't even want to interact with your daughter, think about your grandchild. That's what I mean when I say she could have just anonymously put some money in her bank or whatever, or got her. If you didn't want to talk to her directly, find somebody that you know of her, or I'm pretty sure the sister got a relationship with her. You could have got her number that way, and y'all could have talked, or you could have got her info that way, like an email, and like sent her a PayPal or some shit like that, or sent her a check in the mail or something like that, or gave it to Chantel to give it to her, some shit like that. And I mean, Jackie is not obligated to take care of the daughter, but that's your grandchild. I just would feel, I would feel shitty. I would feel shitty. And then to clear this stuff up, if this would never came out into the media, you wouldn't have people being all up on your ass, Jackie. I just, I don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. I just feel the whole situation is fucked up, and I hope for the baby's sake everything gets back better. Make sure y'all watch the show Insecure. I love it with Issa Rae. She's from the Awkward Black Girl on YouTube. And the first two episodes were fucking hilarious. That first episode when she did that rap about broken pussy. Maybe it's smell. Maybe it's well broken pussy. Broken pussy. That was my shit, bitch. When she was up in the mirror, she was like putting on that lipstick and she said, "Hey, you, come get this nana." That shit was pussy Parmesan. Let me give you a pussy apple pie. That was funny. But it comes on HBO at 8:30, 9:30 on Sunday nights. Also, The Walking Dead is coming back this Sunday, so Ashley will be all up in it. All right, but Empire does not come on next week because of the World Series. Again, this Wednesday was because of the debate, but this week it's going to be because of the World Series. Next week I should say. I gave y'all a good video, so this should be able to hold y'all for the weekend. After tonight, How to Get Away with Murder. So y'all got something to chill over the weekend. Break it up into parts or whatever. Come back to it, look at it all at once. Go clean up your house and all that shit. Listen to it in the background. It's all to the good with me. I just hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I really do. Okay, if it's your birthday, have a marvelous birthday. Have a safe one. Have a safe time. That's all that I want. And I will see you guys later on tonight, and then I will see you guys next week. Peace.